Why does love have nothing to do with relationships?
Oh yeah, that's my favorite chapter in the book. Love doesn't have anything to do with relationships because relationships are fundamentally about the transaction of value, right? People need and want things from other people and they trade those things. And the value of those things it emerges out of the trading. The issue is that love, like loyalty and friendship, can't be bought or earned. It's always given spontaneously at the pleasure of the giver with no strings attached, which means that it's kind of valueless or invaluable. Because even if the price tag is exorbitant, things that have a value can be bought. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But love can't ever be bought, which means that there's nothing that you can do to earn it. There's nothing that you can do to get it if that's what you're looking for. It's always just given at the mysterious pleasure of the giver. We also know that it's not necessary to have a relationship to love. People every day love people that they're not in relationships, and often they're in relationships with people that they don't love. So if both of those things are true, I don't see how we can say that the basis of relationships is love. People generally don't end up with the people who love them the most. It's not like love always wins in the end. Life is not a romantic comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not to say that people in relationships can't love each other, but that has nothing to do with really what they're giving each other. That's almost like a happy coincidence. If that love were based on what they were receiving in the relationship, then that love would have a value, the value of what they were receiving, which would make love transactional, which I don't think it is. So that's kind of why I think that love doesn't have anything to do with relationships.
I had an interesting conversation with a guy yesterday. I did a live Twitter X Space, whatever you want to call them. And this guy was mentioning that the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 gals that he's been with, and it happened with every single one of them within a span of about, he said, 4 to 5 weeks or so. But they would profess being in love with him very rapidly, which is
good for him.
Genuinely unusual. It's like, I think most guys' experience with that is that it's like constipation. Women really struggle to get it out, and they like to hold it back. And when it's out, it's like, okay, it's obvious. Like, she definitely loves this guy. And I asked him, I said to him, I go, is it like I love you, or kind of like I love your guts, sort of thing. Like it's a casual, sort of like friendly, playful way about it. But no, it's like I am in love with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very strong come on for most guys within a span of like 4 or 5 weeks of meeting a woman. What's your take on that? I'm curious.
It is possible. Like I've worked closely with some men who were very, very good at cultivating that kind of emotional reaction in women.
Mm-hmm.
And they generally did this by playing up the romantic dimensions of the relationship. They did it by really pitching them a dream. And those men very early on were talking about a future that they saw with this woman, or that this woman was the most beautiful, the most amazing person that they've ever met. And maybe they even met in a previous life, and that there's some sort of deep karmic, cosmic connection between the two of them. And they sweep them off their feet and take them to Michelin star restaurants. And it's almost like you're the girl who gets the attention from the prince in the movie. It's like you're whisked very suddenly into this entirely new world from a attractive, successful man who seems to be unilaterally and intensely devoted to you. That will make a woman fall in love in 4 to 5 weeks. Now,
was that the guys admitting the strategy, or was that the women telling the story of their experience about how they felt?
No, this is the men telling me what works.
Okay,
and they didn't always or ever mean those things in the way that the woman received them.
Lip
and
service,
when I spoke with a number of these guys, we discovered that strategy on their part, which was very effective, was designed to protect themselves, because they felt that if they could get a woman to love them at that level of intensity, well, that woman wouldn't be leaving him, and that he would be protected against her rejection. Generally, though, what happened was the man in question was unable to sustain that level of interest and passion and courtship. And the woman first becomes a little confused, and then a little disappointed, and then a little irate, or a lot irate.
Obviously.
And she kind of sees through it. And often these relationships that burn really bright, really fast also burn out very quickly in extravagant ways.
All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.